Okay, so today we're going to be doing this worksheet, and it also has some other worksheets that go with it. It has this one. We're going to practice this together, and then it has a story with all three of the paragraphs: our starter paragraph, our developer paragraph, and our closer. Okay, and that's what you're supposed to do at home this week. So we need all of these sheets. If you don't have them, they should be attached in the email just in case. I went ahead and fixed this. I had to scratch it out because there's several times we were supposed to have done this, but we haven't got to, but it's a perfect time to do it now. So we'll put week 24 up here because that's this week. And our goal today is to figure out how to and what to write on our bottom buns of our paragraphs. So here we have our bottom buns. This is our bottom bun. It's empty. It's empty. And this one's empty too. This is our starter, our developer paragraph for the middle parts of our story, and then our closer. But all of these are empty, or yours should be. And what we're going to do today is figure out what to write on these. Okay, and the purpose of this is whatever's here is going to lead into this next paragraph. And whatever's here is going to lead into the last paragraph. So that's what these are for. So there's going to be a sentence that you're going to write on here to help your readers get ready for this paragraph. And then what you're going to write on here is going to get your readers ready to read this paragraph. Okay, so make them keep wanting to read your story. So there are several things we can do. We can first, we can write a sentence, or which are usually questions, to develop anticipation. That means we're looking forward to something. So it would be something like these examples. Here's a question. Would this be the end of Josh Rattleman? That makes you think, oh, something is about to happen. Is this going to be the end of him? Is it not? What's going to happen? It gets you anticipated, okay, for the next paragraph. So we could write that here, or we could write that here. And it's going to lead into the next one. Here's another one for anticipation. Would Andy find her way out of this? So if you had a story where someone's trapped or in a big predicament that they need to get out of, well, you can write this. Would Andy find her way out? Or would your character, if they get trapped in a cave here, would so-and-so find their way out? And then you can start your next paragraph. And we can go on to the other one. This one, the second option, is sentences or questions to develop suspicion or curiosity, okay? And this is kind of the same as this, but it's a little bit different because you want to get them thinking about different pieces of your story, okay? Not just what's about to happen, but what do all these things that's been happening, what could they mean? What are they fixing to reveal? So like this one, who could have left the key on the table? So it gets them suspicious about the characters in your story or what's going to happen. They're curious why the key is there on the table and what's going to happen with that. The tracks, see, that has certain objects in it. The tracks look vaguely familiar to the ones she saw at the parlor before. So this is putting different pieces of the puzzle together, right? You're thinking of what happened before, and then you're connecting the tracks. What if they're the same thing? They look similar. What does this mean? So you're getting suspicious about something, and you want to find out if your suspicions are correct. As she walked through the doors, the familiar smell of apple pie and caramel filled the air. So there's another smell here that's connected to other parts of her story. So number 3, another option that you can have is the sentences, a sentence to shock or surprise. Okay, so this is something that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that is happening, or that just happened. Like, little did they know that after today, everything was about to change. So that's a mild shock. So you're thinking, okay, something's about to happen that's going to change the whole story. Everything's going to change. The boy was nowhere to be found. So they're gone, they're missing. The priceless jewel sank to the bottom of the sea. And you're like, oh no, how did that happen? It's totally gone. The jewel sank to the bottom. You're totally shocked. You didn't think that was about to happen. Or there was a volcano or an explosion, and you write the whole village was lost. And you can't believe that suddenly the whole village is gone, to your story. Because you've probably seen a movie before that there was a character and then suddenly something happened to them and they're gone from the story, and you were like, oh, I cannot believe that that was it. That's all the character. They're gone. Okay, that's a shock or surprise, something you didn't expect that was about to happen. Okay, sentences that lead to the next paragraph. Now, all of these get your reader ready and wanting to read what's about to happen, wanting to read the next paragraph. Now, this one is just gently leading your readers from here into the next paragraph. You're just taking them by the hand with your words and saying, come on, let's go to the next paragraph. So, these don't have anything shocking that happened. There's no suspicion that you're trying to develop. You're not getting them to anticipate something about to happen. Here we are, sorry. Soon, night would come, so that tells you night's about to come, and they would continue their journey under the cover of darkness. So it just tells you what they're about to be doing. And so your next paragraph will be, if night is soon about to come and they're going to continue their journey, well, guess what this one's going to be? It's going to be them continuing their journey. What happens as they're journeying through the night. Here's another one that gently leads your readers to the next one. Leaving the laboratory for the day, they were hopeful that tomorrow, so there's tomorrow, there's your next paragraph, they would discover the ingredient they needed. So here's where you're telling them kind of what your next paragraph is almost about to be about. So you gently lead them over to your next one and saying, well, it's going to be tomorrow, and they're going to be hopeful that they're going to discover the new ingredient. So, and this one, let's see what this leads you into the next paragraph, okay? As the dust from the battle cleared, the elves gathered their injured and hurried back to their hidden village. So, it tells you that everybody's leaving, and it tells you where they're about to go, so this next one is probably going to be about the hidden village, right? So, that's leading your audience into the next paragraph. You're almost showing them what the next paragraph is going to be about. And you're just taking them from this paragraph, gathering their injured, and going back to their village. So you're kind of showing them both things. You're telling them what's happening here and that what's about to happen next. So the last one is sentences to conclude. Now, this is going to end everything. We don't want to end everything here because we have more to say. And we don't want to end everything here because we still have our last paragraph. But after this, there's no more. So we want to always write our concluding one here, unless you have a to be continued story, right? Okay, so sentences to conclude. In the end, you notice that shows us that our story has come to an end. In the end, the elves and dwarves lived in peace, and the Lifestones were reunited. So we're at the end. Everybody's in peace now. The stones came back. Everything's good. So that's a good ending for a story. Here's another one. At long last. That shows us it's the end. Jerry embraced his father. They must have been apart, and now they're back together. And they promised to never be separated again. So, and there's a happy ending at the end. Finally, the queen was back on her throne, and the village was at peace again. There's our ending, and everybody's kind of happy at the end. Everything got resolved. All the conflicts that may have happened in our story, it's all gotten better, and everything's good now. He now knew that, and then you could fill in the blank here. He now knew that the Forbidden Valley, he now knew that the Forbidden Valley was forbidden because of this and this, and he was sure to never go there again, right? So then there's a resolve for that. So all of these are called resolutions. That means when there's a bunch of things that have been happening in a story, and then they all come together at the end, and they're all resolved, and everything's good. So that's what you want to have right here. Okay? All right, so what you're going to do is we're going to do a little practice right here. So you should turn to this page. And this doesn't have, whether it's a starter or anything else, because your paragraphs here, they have starter, sorry, got messed up, developer, closer, okay. These don't have that. So let's see what this might be. This says one day. So because it says one day, what does that usually mean? Let me get my pen. Okay. That usually means that this is a starter paragraph, okay, because we see one day. That's usually at the beginning of a story. So we're going to put right here, we'll just put it at the bottom somewhere. R-T-E-R, starter. Okay? I'm just going to fill that in because that's what our paragraphs have on them. So this is a starter one. So let's see, one day A, and you're going to fill in here if it's a boy or a girl, okay, or a young girl, however you want to put it. I'm going to say girl because I'm a girl. So one day a girl, so go ahead and do this. You can do this with me. Named, and you can give her a name. And I'm going to call her Anna. Okay, girl named Anna. Went for a boat ride up with his parents. I shouldn't have done that, huh? So I need to change that. Her. There we go. With her parents. I should have put a line here so y'all could have put something there, depending on what you wrote. But I forgot. So, went on a boat ride with her parents. They were blank and headed to blank so that they could blank. So this, you're going to take a little time and figure out what you want to write here. Okay, so they were maybe on vacation and headed to, now you're going to write a place here, maybe the Bahamas, so they could, maybe they're exploring some old caverns or something, or maybe they're going so they could scuba dive and explore the reef. Okay, so take a minute to think of why they were going somewhere. They were on a vacation, they were taking a trip, they were going to see family and headed to wherever they're going to go so they could do whatever they're going to do there. Just remember, they went for a boat. She's on a boat. So this has to do with water, okay? So take a minute, pause the video, and fill this in. Okay, so I wrote my stuff in here. They're on vacation and headed to a tropical island. So I wasn't very specific. I didn't give an actual name for an island. I just said a tropical island. So they could scuba dive to explore a shipwreck. So they're going to do this on their vacation. Pretty cool vacation. Clearly the daughter is not a very small child because they can't scuba dive. So as the captain directed the boat across the waters, the wind blew through their hair and the light ocean spray hit their face. Suddenly, the captain came to a stop. The girls, you fill this in, if it was a boy or a girl, okay, the girls' parents stood up to see what was the matter. The captain turned to them with a horrified look on his face. So something's wrong, right? We know something's wrong because he has a horrified look on his face. Now, we need to figure out what we're going to write on our bottom bun. So we can look back here. What do we want to do? Do we want to say something to develop anticipation? We want to ask a question like, would the boat ever go again? Would the boat start moving again? But that really doesn't make a lot of sense because we don't have enough information to anticipate something. Would they make it to the shipwreck? We could say that, but we're still traveling there, right? And not a lot has happened. All that the reader knows is what? That they're trying to get somewhere and the boat stopped, and the captain has a horrified look. Something is wrong. We want to know what's wrong with the captain. So, how about suspicion or curiosity? Because right now there's a problem, but we don't know why there's a problem, so maybe we can give our readers a suggestion as to why the boat is stopped, right? And what caused it to stop. So, let's think about that for a minute, because I think that would be a good idea for us to do something. Now, if you want to do another one, I'll go over some more in a minute. So, if the boat is stopped and we want to develop some suspicion to keep our readers moving to the next paragraph, okay, then we could say something about, maybe the captain said something. We can put it in quotes, so I'll put an option right here, okay? The captain could say, I'm writing it down here because I'm going to give some examples and I don't want to just fill up this space. Okay, so I went ahead and wrote it over here so we can just kind of gather some things. So we've suddenly ran out of fuel. So I'm talking about the problem here, okay? Something to do with the fuel. The fuel's gone. And it says something's hit our fuel lines. So here we have something's hit them. So that's going to make the readers start thinking in their mind, well, what are the options? What are the suspects for having the fuel line get severed or messed up or ripped off? Something was under the boat. Did they hit something? Did something come and hit them? Is something under their boat? What's going on? Okay, so that could be one for suspicion. Let's see what else. Or you can have shock. Captain turned with a horrified look on his face. You could say something like, maybe we're stranded. Okay, and that's kind of shocking, just the captain suddenly to come and in the middle of the ocean say we're stranded, right? That's kind of shocking. Sentences to lead to the next paragraph. So remember, this one takes what's happening now and then gives you what's about to happen too. And so here's an example. I wrote it already. Ta-da! The motor's locked up. Maybe the captain says that. The motor's locked up. This tells you what's happening now. That's why they're stopped. And it looks like we may be stuck on open waters for a bit. So they're going to be stuck on the open waters for a bit. This is what's going to happen in the next paragraph. So your next paragraph is going to be about what happens while they're stuck. So this one, motor's locked up here. Looks like we may be stuck on open waters for a bit. That's what this one's going to be about. So it leads you from here and it takes you right over into the next one. So the last option is for a concluding one, and that's going to go what? That's our closer one. That's going to be here. So we don't need that yet because this one is just a starter one. Our practice one here is just a starter. So I'm going to pick one of these and I'm going to write it in here, and I like this one, okay, because I like to build suspicion, so I'm going to write that over here. Alright, so I've picked this one, and you don't have to pick one of these. You can make up your own or make up something similar. This is our practice one. So we've suddenly ran out of fuel. Something's hit our fuel lines. So that makes you want to read the next paragraph to see what is it that hit the fuel lines, right? Why are they suddenly out of fuel because of this? What's going on? So that's the one that builds suspicion. So for practice, before you fill in all of this for your story, the homework this week is to take these paragraphs, and we're going to go ahead and do this with me, okay? This is our starter, okay? So we can go ahead and put that there. Starter for that one. The next one is a developer. We have end time. So this means time has passed, so we're developing our story. So we'll write developer there, okay? And then the last one, let me turn the page. This is our closer, okay? Let's see. Okay, so we have all three. Now remember, we can have more developer paragraphs. We can have more of these. You can have like 2, you can have 4, you can have 6. It doesn't matter. It depends on how big your story is. But right now we're just doing very short stories, so we just need one of each, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So what you're going to do is you're going to read these, and you notice there's a spot down here. So you're going to read this, and you might want to read the whole story first, right? Read all of this too, and then read what happens at the end, so you know how the story goes. Then you can come back and decide what are going to be the best ways to move from this paragraph to the next one, right? Because we're filling this part out. So what's the best way to take our readers from all this information and put them over here? Do you want to make them suspicious about something? Okay. Do you want to, let me go back to our page. Do you want to have them anticipate? Okay. Do you want to anticipate what's about to happen? The suspicion, remember, you take information that you've already given them. Okay. Something that's already happened, and you have to try to fit things together and see what's about to happen. Shock. If you're just saying that something devastating has happened or something that was a surprise that they didn't expect at all. Or if you just want to really simply, this is the easiest one, lead them into the next paragraph. Tell them what happened in this one, and then tell them what's about to happen in this one. Okay? They all loaded up in the car because they were finished playing and they were going to finally head back home. And so that would lead into this one. They were playing and then now everybody's about to go home. This would be about the car ride home. So this one is about a fox. Okay, and we can see from the topic, the first one is the grove. The fox lived in a beautiful grove. So that's the main idea. So this is all about him living in a beautiful grove, right? And then this one is the humans. So now we have humans come into the story. Humans come to the forest. It's usually never good in these animal stories, right? Somebody's always hunting somebody. And the last one, the topic is the escape. So obviously if somebody's escaping, somebody was trapped. The fox escapes the humans. So there's probably some trapping going on in here and hunting. So read the story. Think of some good things to put down here. Remember for your last one, what do you put at the very last one? You don't want them, when you get to here, you don't want them to anticipate something because it's the end of your story. So you always want to try to find some kind of closer here that brings resolution and everything, ties everything together and makes everything kind of a good ending. So remember that's your closer one, so that's going to go down here. Alright, so you just have these 3 to fill out, and then when you're done, okay, you can refer back to this for some help if you need to. And you're going to fill out your hamburger pieces, the bottom buns, for your story. Okay, so you're going to use your Visa marker. Don't use a Sharpie, please. And you're going to write on here a sentence, or most of a sentence, because this is just your pre-writing. Remember, you can fill out more of it when you write your paper. But just write a general type of sentence, how you want to end that paragraph with either anticipation, suspicion and curiosity, shock or surprise, or lead into the next paragraph that's going to be here. And this one too. You figure out what you want here. Do you want to shock, surprise, anticipate, or do you want to just lead it into the next paragraph? And this one's going to be your what? Your closing. Very good, which is down here. So start it with a closing remark and give a good resolution. Okay, and I'll write this here, and you can if you want to. We have a resolution. Okay, that means everything kind of comes together at the end, usually a good happy ending, or somebody learns something, things like that. So don't worry about your vocabulary this week. We'll get that next week. So all right, y'all have a good week. Bye.